Hello. To warm up your brain today, we're going to do some subitizing. Subitizing is when you can look at an amount and say the number straight away without needing to count. How many? One glue stick. How many? One glue stick. Let's try the next one. Subitize. Are you ready? When you see it, say it. Two. 1, 2. Count with me. 1, 2. 2 cheese rolls. So the next one. Subitize. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yay. Next one. Ready for this one? Now, I'm going to point to what I want you to subitize. Subitize that. Go for it. 7. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many? 7. Subitize. Are you ready? Are you ready to subitize? Subitize. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 eggs. Carrying on the egg theme, can you subitize this? What can you see? Maths is everywhere. What can you see there? How many eggs are there? Subitize. Say it straight away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many eggs? 5 eggs. But you might have subitized this. How many spaces? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 eggs here. And I've got space for another 5 eggs. How many eggs should there be all together? There should be 10 eggs. How many? 10 eggs. Because if you count all the spaces, let's take these eggs out. If this is full of eggs on this side, there should be 10. Let's count together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There should be space for 10 eggs. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super duper. That was just a quick bit of subitizing. There is a video linked to you today all about subitizing you can sing and join in with. It's part whole time. So if you can you draw one of these on a big sheet of paper? Remember to make the circles quite big, because then you can count your items into the circles. Because if you draw your circles too small, then you're not really going to be able to fit much in them. Okay, so part whole model. The whole is here. This is the whole, and these are the 2 parts. A child in class yesterday said, "Oh, do you mean like pieces?" Yes, I mean like these are the 2 pieces, and when you push them together, make the whole at the top. So these are the 2 parts, and that's the whole. That's it when it's all together, and then you can split it into 2 parts, or you might call them 2 pieces. And I'll show you what I mean right now. So this is 1 whole slice of bread. How many? 1 whole slice of bread. I can split it into 2 parts. How many's in this part? 1. How many's in that part? 1. So I've got 1 part, 1 part. When I put it together, it makes 1 whole at the top. Do you see that? So the whole is when it's all together at the top. And you can split it into 2 parts at the bottom, if you can, okay? I can only split this into 2 parts because I can cut it up. So there's 1 part and 1 part, and when you put it together, it makes a whole at the top. Okay, so let's move on. I am going to put these into the hole. That is our hole. How many, subitize, how many tomatoes? 3. So what number should go in our hole? It's the number 3. So if you're playing along at home, can you count out 3 objects? Pause the video. You put the number 3 in your hole at the top. Okay? So you can pause the video and you can do that before I move on. Then what you do is you can split that into these two parts. Now you have to use everything that's in the hole, because if you do this, then I've got 1 in this part, 1 in that part, and 1 and 1 is 2. Look, 1, 2. Which means that that is wrong. Remember, if your number's in the hole, which is number 3, I'm going to count my 3 objects. When I'm splitting them into the parts, I have to use everything that's in that hole and split it down. Now, sometimes when you split the items into the parts, they're not going to look the same. They're not going to look equal. Because in this part, I've got how many? 2. In this part, I've got how many? 1. But when you count them all together, they need to be the same as the hole at the top, as the number at the top. What's that number? 3. How many's in this part? 2. How many's in that part? 1. But when I count them all together, they're the same as the number 3. Let's count. 1, 2, 3. Which means 2 add 1 equals 3 when I count them all together. 1, 2, 3. So can you try and do that for me? Put your number 3 in the hole at the top. Put 2 on one side and 1 on the other. So that's 2 add 1 equals 3. I want you to say this. The hole is 3. Your turn. My turn. We have 2 in one part. Again, we have 2 in one part. 1 in the other part. Say that again. 1 in the other part. The whole is 3. Can you say that? The whole is 3. Now, I've got 2 in this part and 1 in the other part. If I move this tomato to the other side, is it still the same? Is it still equal to the whole, which is 3? Yes, it is, because I've not added any more tomatoes and I've not taken any away. There's 1 in this part and 2 in this part. 1 add 2 equals 3. Look, 1, 2, 3. If I move the tomato over to this side, is it still equal to 3? Yes, it is still equal to 3 because we've got 3 at the top, which is our whole. I've not added any more tomatoes. I've not taken any away. It's still the same. I've just moved them between the parts. So as long as you don't add any or take any away, you can move them between the parts to show how you can make that number. Remember, we had 2 add 1 equals 3. Or you could have 1 add 2 equals 3. And look at this one. What would that one be? What would that one be? How many's in this part? 0. How many's in this part? 3. 0 add 3 equals 3. 1, 2, 3. 0 add 3 equals 3. Let's do another one, shall we? Okay. Can you draw a part hole model? So put your hole at the top and your 2 parts. Can you count 4 objects into the top? Count 4 objects into the top circle, which is your hole. Count 4 objects into the top circle, which is your hole. And there's my number for my hole, the number 4. What's that number? The number 4. Now how can I sort these? How can I sort these? Show me with your items that you're counting how many could I put in this part? How many could I put in that part? How could I sort them? I could put 2 in this part and 2 in that part. So if you've not done it yet, put 4 at the top and then split your hole, your objects, into two parts. Those parts look the same. How many's in this part? 2. How many's in that part? 2. Can you count all of your objects together and see if they're the same as that number at the top? Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the same as the number 4. Let's count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. The same as the number 4. Now, can you make your part whole model look the same as mine? Remember, have your number 4 at the top. Have 2 items in this part and 2 items in the other part. You can pause the video if you need to. So this one is 2 add 2 equals 4. Can you move one of your objects onto the other part? Move one of your objects onto the other part. What is your whole? Your whole is 4. The whole is 4. How many is in this part? 1. How many is in this part? 3. So that's telling you that 1 add 3 equals 4. 1 add 3 equals 4. And even though we were sorting and I put these 2 items because they were the same on this side, and these 2 items because they were the same on this side, I can move them across. And it still makes the same whole at the top. 1 add 3. So we had 2 add 2. We had 1 add 3 equals 4. Is there another way we could do it? At home, can you think of another way that you can move the items to make the whole, which is the number 4? Remember, you're not adding any more, you're not taking any away, just move the items between the 2 parts to try and make the number 4. We've had 2 add 2. We've had 1 add 3 equals 4. Is there another way? Okay, let's do another. Now I've got a number written. I've got a number written on this Post-it note, but it's hiding. I've turned it upside down. And that number will tell you how many is in the hole at the top. So clear your part hole off. Clear it all off. Can you count the same number of what I'm going to do into your hole at the top? How many? You can subitize if you like. How many is in the hole at the top? Can you count the same number into your hole at the top? You can pause the video if you need to. It is the number 5. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is your hole? It's the number 5. Let's check to see if we're right. There we go. 5. 5. What is your hole? 5. Now please be very careful and check that you've got the right number in the hole at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to move it down into 2 parts. And remember, when you're moving your hole into 2 parts, you have to use all of them. Don't leave any of them behind, or else the number will be, it will be wrong. So let me see. I'm going to take these ones down here. Now, it doesn't matter if there isn't the same number in each part. As long as you're not adding or taking any away, it should still be the same as the hole at the top. What's that number? 5. 5 is your hole, and we've split 5 into 2 parts. How many is in this part? 3. How many is in this part? 2. When I push them back together, they're the same as the number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I would like you to split your items, count 5, and split them into 3 and 2. Can you do that for me? Pause the video and have a go. And that's telling us that 3 add 2 is the same as the number 5. It's equal to the number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I'm going to move that over to that side. Is it still 5? Is it still 5? Can you put 2 in one part and 3 in the other? Count them and tell me, is it still 5? You can pause the video if you need to. Yes, it is still 5. How many is in this part? 2. How many is in this part? 3. 2 add 3 is the same as the number 5. It is equal to the number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I took 1 away, is it still 5? Is it still 5? Yes or no? Why not? Why is it not number 5? Oh, because I've taken some away, which means there are fewer now, and it's not the number 5. It's, how many's in this part? 1. How many's in this part? 3. Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, but our whole is the number 5. How many do I need to put back? 1. How many's in this part? 2. How many's in this part? 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you move your pasta shells or cubes, whatever you're using at home, between the parts and see how many different ways you can make it look like the number 5? 3 add 2 equals 5. You might have, if I move them across, 1 add 4 is the same as the number 5. Don't add any and don't take any away. Have a go with that at home.